Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe. I'm here with the co-host
TGO.
CGO or George. We are releasing this on the 5th of June 2026, just 1 week away from the start of the World Cup. Quick reminder, please like us, subscribe us. We release every single day, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, other platforms. Today, we are previewing World Cup Group G. Also, big result today. Richmond Ivy won Annapolis 3-1. But we are talking about Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand, this group. So a lot of interesting teams, not a lot of World Cup history. Belgium has won several knockouts, 2014 and 18. I don't think any of these other teams have ever won a knockout. A lot of sporadic in terms of their qualification. Belgium has gone through cycles where they've been great for certain periods of time and poor. This Belgium team, George, is kind of a mix of a golden generation that's all now early to mid 30s or late 30s, and a bunch of younger players coming through like Jeremy Doku, which is exciting. They are by far the favorites, and then the consensus is that these other three teams, any of them can finish second, third, or fourth. If Belgium doesn't finish first, that they will be very disappointed. That is the consensus. George, let's talk Belgium first, because they've had a really interesting last decade. They've had a golden generation. A lot of world-class players have been Belgium. They've certainly overpunched their weight when it comes to population. A lot of these players will be playing. They have Courtois. They have Kevin De Bruyne. Who knows how much playing time they can get. Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is 35 years old. But they also have a good young crop of players like Jeremy Doku, among others. Do you feel like this Belgium team, I feel like this is almost a very good mix of players, George. I feel like they could be very dangerous and beat just about anybody on their day, George. What do you think?
Yes, I think, Joe, you are very correct. This Belgian team, we have few of the players who were termed the golden generation because, you know, those who were called the golden generation was from 2014 to 2022 because that period we had a lot of players like Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Thibaut Courtois, Axel Witsel. They have lots of players. Martin, they have so many players there. They,
Vertonghen, Vermaelen, right? They were both Belgian, right? Or was one
yeah.
Dutch?
So there was the 2018 was when most people thought Belgium would have won the World Cup. In short, they were the favorite in 2018, but unfortunately for them, they lost out at the semi-finals. They were beaten by France in the semi-final of that World Cup, and we all know that France won the 2018 World Cup. That year, one good thing is that that was their best performance so far in the World Cup. If you look at their history, the best they've had was getting to the semi-final and then playing a third place match against England, which they won 2-0. In 2022 World Cup, that was in Qatar, we saw what happened to Belgium. Belgium could not really do much at that competition. They really disappointed a lot of people because they finished third in that group where we had Morocco, Croatia, Canada, and Belgium. So anybody would have predicted that Belgium would finish top in that group. But unfortunately for them, they lost out of the group stage, and it was Morocco that topped the group, the team that people least expected to
One player,
finish top.
one player I've always been really impressed with who's on Belgium is Amadou Onana. Like I don't, whenever I see him at a club level, I don't remember him at Belgium. I know he played in Euro 2024, and I can't say I refreshed his performances from there, his Belgian performances. Whenever I see him at a club level, he strikes me as a complete midfielder, a guy who can control a game, a guy who doesn't do anything like doesn't do any highlight reel stuff, but you talk about a midfielder who can control other midfielders, who knows where to be, he can tackle, he can pass, he can everything. He's just a leader. He's a complete midfielder, and he's the type of guy, he does not care if he's doing all the dirty work and De Bruyne doesn't run at all and makes a killer pass. Like that's the type of guy that really helps you win. And I feel like he's I don't want to say one to watch because he's not a highlight reel player, but I feel like he's a very integral player to this team if he plays like he does at the club level. I've been very impressed with him.
Yes, Joe. This Amadu Onana. One quality I love about him when it comes to winning the ball. That's he has that ability because he's somebody who is lanky and with his long legs always easy for him to win balls. And that is a very big advantage he has. And that makes him one of the key players because whether I like it or not, one of the players to watch out for in the Belgian squad going to this, their 15th World Cup, because this will be their 15th appearance. Players like Onana, Amado
Doku,
Onana, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Romelu Lukaku,
Doku,
Thibaut Courtois, Doku, Jeremy Doku. I think if you look at the Premier League, the just concluded Premier League, he had a very outstanding season, especially the second half of the season. Doku was very good. Apart from his dribbling skills, his one versus one threat to defenders, he has improved when it comes to shooting and scoring goals. So that
I'll
is
say too. Trossard too has had 35 appearances, I believe, both the last 2 years for Arsenal. I will forgive him. I do think he has awful hair. The frosted tips went out of style 20 years ago, but he is a great player, a great finisher. I don't know on this Belgian team if he is a starter, um, but he's a great player to bring off the bench when you need a goal, when you know to do whatever. So I think he'll be important too. And I honestly think Belgium have the luxury of being one of the easier groups, and it should be really cool for them. George, let's move on to the next team, Egypt. Again, on this team, they have two superstars in attack, or sorry, I'd say two players who play for massive clubs. Well, Salah's leaving Liverpool, but he's still technically a Liverpool player. Omar Marmoush has joined Man City, I believe, a year and a half ago. He's had some fantastic moments for Manchester City, but he was not a regular starter this year towards the end of the season. I think as he's definitely shown moments of quality. He's definitely a great player, one of the best players on this, arguably the second best player on this Egypt team. And I haven't really seen a lot of these other Egyptian players around. Do you know anything, George, another player to look out for other than those two who is well known to Premier League players?
Well, apart from Mohamed Salah and Omar Mamouche, they also have a player called Mahmoud Hassan Trezeguet. He's a winger. He plays for El Ali in Egypt. He has always been one of those great wingers with high energy, and he's an highly experienced player. So he's one player that can really add a lot to the Egyptian team going to the World Cup. The only challenge with Egypt is that Egypt haven't won any game at the World Cup. That's the challenge Egypt has. This will be their fourth World Cup appearance. The funny thing is that Egypt made history as the first African and Arab nation to ever play at the World Cup in 1934. But despite having such kind of record, they haven't won any single game at the World Cup. So probably this might be an opportunity for them, at least, to record their first victory at the World Cup and possibly advance to maybe the round of 32. But if you look at this group, most of the teams there, apart from Belgium, most of those the teams there they are not teams that has very big pedigree when it comes to the World Cup. So that's the only challenge I have with this Egyptian team. When it comes to Africa, they've really made a lot of they have very good record because a team that has won 7 AFCON, you expect that they should have a very good record going to the World Cup. But
But
unfortunate for them,
I'll
they
say
haven't done that.
Salah is probably the best player of all time, and again, Salah is not what he was 2, 3, 4, even 1 year ago. He had a poor season. It's likely, given his age, that it is a due to age, but it could be he could land in Europe next year. Who knows? He could be need a fresh place. He definitely has finishing quality that doesn't go away with age. But since Salah's debut on the national team, Egypt has not done that well at AFCON. They got fourth place in 2025. I guess they did get two runner up, but they have not won one in over 15 years. So not a single player on this Egypt team has won an AFCON. And so I don't know how much that'll play into it. That I do feel like winning history does help mentality if you have winners on the pitch. But not a single player was a part of that 2010 team, George. They have multiple players in this team who lost the final twice. multiple players in this team who got fourth place in 2025. Most of the team, I would say, but not a single player has won. And so I don't know how relevant those 7 hits are in this history when you still have to play the game against other players.
But Joe, their coach is a legend who has won. I think he has won 2 AFCON. His name is Osama Sam. He is the coach of the team. He's somebody who is highly respected when you talk about Egyptian football. So maybe such a guy can really be of help when it comes to motivating them to go all out. Because mind you, Egypt missed out in the 2022 World Cup, but they had this guy coming, and he has been able to change a couple of things with the Egyptian
Wow.
teams. So that might really help them.
So
Uh,
George, he won 3 as a player.
yes, he won 3 AFCON. So
As a
he's a
player, yeah.
yeah. The guy is when it comes to finishing, he was a very good striker when he was still playing for the Egyptian team. So I'm sure his presence might really help. Somebody who is highly respected by Egyptian fans and Egyptian players of this generation. It might be a very big boost for the players to motivate them to go all out and maybe get something positive at this World Cup. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of good coaches, I did think that Iran. I thought it was um. I was looking at these guys today, and there's a team. I think it was Iran. Who's their coach?
Is it the coach of Iran?
No, never mind. Ignore. But George, let's move on to Iran. Their coaches, I have not heard. I don't think he has any particular pedigree. But Iran. Let's talk about them. This is their. They've never gotten out of the group stage either. This is their 7th World Cup. They have not too many players that fans of European leagues will recognize. They have a couple of players playing in lower level leagues, mostly a domestic squad. In the past, they have had players in Europe, which is again, Europe is typically a proxy for this player if these players have made it. Europe typically takes better talent from around. Historically, has taken better talent from Iranian league and leagues around the world. This team does not have, at least from a club variety perspective, many superstars. This Iranian team, they've had again a decent record in qualifying, but they've never gotten to the knockout stage in the World Cup. What do you think their expectations are this World Cup, George?
Well, when you look at Iran's history at the World Cup, I think they have a better history than Egypt when it comes to the World Cup. This is going to be their 7th appearance. But if you watch the Iranian team, at least you will notice that for each World Cup editions they've been to, at least they get at least a draw or they get a win in most of the World Cup they've featured in 1978, which was their first World Cup. At least they were able to get a draw against Scotland in that competition, and then they lost the last 2. In 1998 in France, they were able to get a win against the US. I think I remember I watched that game. That game
I
was a
watched that
very
game.
yeah, it was a very interesting game, which they won 2-1. And then when they went to Germany in 2006, they were able to get another draw in that competition against Angola. So if you look at the way they've really performed at the World Cup, I won't say they've been this abysmal. At least it has been fair enough. Now, being in a group like this where we have teams that have not really been to the World Cup that much, I think they really stand a chance of getting to at the round of 32. They have a guy whose name is Mehdi Taremi. You will know
Yes,
him. He once played for FC Porto, played for Inter
scored a
Milan.
lot of
He
goals for
currently,
Porto.
yeah, and then currently plays for Olympiacos. He's one player that is we need to really watch out for because that guy is a very good striker. Haven't watched him play for FC Porto, Inter Milan,
Yeah,
now and also now in Olympiacos. And then, Joe, to shock you, they have in this Iranian team a player who once played for Brentford.
I
I'm
know.
sure
I
that
know who you're
his
talking
name is
about.
called Saman Godos.
He
He
was
once played.
he was never that great for us. I mean, he could put in a shift, but I never thought he was our best player. He never was a starter for us, even in some of our weaker Premier League teams. So, of course, like Premier League experience is important, and I feel like he knows what it's like to go against the best players, and that kind of mentality is helpful. He definitely had a great mentality for our team. He was not weak mentally. I think that's kind of important for team building and what he brings. And so he's been off our team for 2 years, and so but yes, still having that experience going against the great players. George, New Zealand now. This team has Chris Wood, of course, had a fantastic season 2 years ago for Nottingham Forest. Had an injury-riddled season last year, did not play much. Of course, is a great finisher. Of course, is a great leader, great physically. They have a couple other players, New Zealand, who play around Europe, who play in the championship. Is there another player out here that you feel like people should be on the lookout for? Watch this guy play.
I think apart from Chris Wood, they have a player whose name is Marco Stamanek. He plays for Swansea City. The issue is that most of their players play in the championship and in the lower leagues in Europe. That's just
Well,
the only problem.
to be honest, the championship is probably better than every league in the world except for like 8 or 9 leagues. Like it is better than the MLS. The championship is better than New Zealand league. It's better than the Iranian league. It's better than it's not better than Germany, France, Spain, Italy, probably not Netherlands, not Portugal, but it's a pretty good league. Like it's not bad. The average championship team is probably worse than Celtic and Rangers, but the average championship team is the third best team in Scotland immediately. It's probably the fourth best team in Portugal too. Like championship is a good league. Rant.
Well, I think you have a point there. So the issue is that that guy is one player we should also watch out for because the guy is a creative midfielder. So it's one player the New Zealand team will be looking at. This World Cup is going to be their third appearance. The second appearance, which was 10 World Cup, they they had they played 3 games and got 3 draws. That was how funny it was. They played draw against Slovakia, against Italy, and Paraguay. And at the end of the day, they finished there and they were eliminated from the competition. So in the past 2 World Cups they've been to, they've never gone past the group stage. But you will notice a kind of an improvement. In 1982 in Spain, when they were at the World Cup, they lost all their 3 games and then finished fourth. And then 2010, they finished third, getting 3 draws. So maybe if that trend continues, probably maybe they might finish second in this World Cup. So we'll wait and see what happens with New
Again,
Zealand at this World Cup.
I think it's a great thing that this World Cup has more teams. It does allow more teams to end the tournament thinking, oh, we got a little further than we did. Even if they still get to the round of 16, that means winning a knockout game, which a lot more teams are going to win in the round of 32 than in previous tournaments. I think that's overall good for the game. It's all about national unity. It's about world unity. I think that football will bring together. I think this New Zealand team, could play 10 more World Cups and not really advance past the round of 16. But in this tournament, that means winning a knockout game, and that'll be great for New Zealand. And again, they have in most of these groups, 3 teams are going to qualify for the knockout rounds. Only 1 team is going to get knocked out in the group stages, which, in an average tournament, you would not expect 2 of New Zealand, Iran, and Egypt to qualify for knockouts, but that's probably going to happen. So that's exciting. George, let me close out with our standard questions. Number 1, any chance Belgium doesn't get first in the group? Number 2, which team do you think is going to get last place and get eliminated? George, really quickly, I'm going to say Iran. Who do you think?
I think New Zealand will finish fourth in the fourth.
George says New Zealand. And the last question I'll say, how far do you think Belgium can go? Can this Belgian team make it to the semifinals, George? What do you think? Yes or no?
Belgium will definitely go far in this competition.
I think they'll go far too. I think they have a solid team. I think it's a good mix of vets and rookies. All right, George. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.